Okay, here's my piece of advice to young people watching this. You are not perfect. You cannot be perfect. You will not make perfect decisions all the time, either because you're not able to, because the options aren't available, or because you're not willing to, because one day, you know what, you just want to fly somewhere for a holiday. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. We are all having to navigate this world, this really difficult, really impossible choices that are being put before us in a really, really difficult environment. So my advice is the advice I give myself sometimes, which is don't be too hard on yourself. The work you are doing to try to address some aspect of climate change is important work. And that aspect of climate change might not be climate change itself. It might be the just transition work. It might be some other element of supporting communities. And the other piece of advice is advice I actually give to whenever I'm asked about what should individuals do. Yes, we should think about what we do. So what do we buy? How do we travel? Not for you guys necessarily yet, young people, but how are you investing your pensions and your money, and how are you embracing that? How do you heat your homes? What choices are you making? But actually, sometimes for some people, the bigger impact they can have has nothing to do with individual choices, and has much more to do with the influence they have elsewhere. So my biggest influence is going to be on how I educate every single young person who passes through my lecture hall. And there's a lot of them. It's going to be about how I educate every single executive who's in an executive education program, and how I give them tools to change what happens within their business. My biggest influence is going to be choosing to do things like this as many times as I can fit in, so I can talk about it. So don't think that because you don't buy much, because you don't travel anywhere, because you don't have a home yet, you can't have impact. The impact's just going to be elsewhere. And it's using that influence. And also not feeling like you have to be Greta Thunberg to have influence, but actually helping your elderly neighbor to ring up the green homes hotline, or whatever it's called now. I can't remember what it's called, and help them to investigate how they could possibly do something in their home. That influences that one person. So really thinking about the influences you can have, and just being engaged and excited. And I am excited about this. It can get depressing. Oh my gosh, it can get really hard and depressing some days. But the only way to stick at it is to stay positive and to think about how many different people are working on the solutions. And you're not alone in working on them. There's people all over the world who are.